And done!
Greetings, Decker Shado. I've come to torture your soul.
Creepy! I thought you told me you weren't a Cenobite!
Oh, I'm not. I just came to give you this.
Hello, World Wide Web. I'm Decker Shado, the internet personality with the best hair. Well, good or bad, we have made it to the final week of...
The Summer of Hellraiser!
A little too much that time. As it happens, the only reason this movie even exists is because Dimension Films, whom own the rights to the franchise, had a deadline to make another film by if they wanted to maintain ownership. Doug Bradley, who has starred in every Hellraiser movie as Pinhead up to this point, is said to have taken one look at the final script and promptly shot the studio down. On top of that, the salary they offered him to swallow his pride and play the role anyway was allegedly barely enough to buy a fridge. And I don't think that would have been a particularly good fridge. Finally, Clive Barker himself posted a comment on Twitter regarding Revelations, saying, and I quote, "I have nothing to do with the fucking thing. If they claim it's from the mind of Clive Barker, it's a lie. It's not even from my butthole. Pinhead is back in the next chilling chapter of the ever-popular Hellraiser series created by horror master Clive Barker." Well, and whose ass did this come out of? Despite all this negativity right off the bat, I should point out that this is actually the first Hellraiser since Bloodline that was scripted as a Hellraiser movie from the start. How about that? It also was made for the low budget of $300,000, which is not a point in its favor. To be honest, this is the Hellraiser movie I have been warned about and am dreading the most, so I may as well go with an expert on things, well, peculiar. And let's see.
Penis, penis, penis. Penis, penis, penis. Penis, penis, penis.
Where the hell did he say the video feed was?
Penis, penis.
Penis, 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 penis. Decker?
Oh, there you are. Listen, I'm about to review Hellraiser Revelations, and I'd like to know if you would be willing to give me a hand on this last review.
I gave that movie to you and walked away, Decker. For a reason.
8-Man, Kamen Rider, Guyver, I've put up with a lot from you so far, Creepy. I'd say you owe me one.
All the fundraising is done in your name, Decker. Don't think you can pin this on me.
Fine, so I'll owe you one. Just help me with this shit so we can finish this summer already.
Fair enough. I don't mind doing you a favor so long as it means you're indebted to me again.
With that in mind, let's take a look at Hellraiser Revelations and try and find out which is worse, the movie or the deal I just made with Creepy. Our story begins with...
Did you bring the beers?
Yes. Bye, LA.
The plan is to get your dick wet.
Fuck, no fucking fucker, fuck it, no!
Is there something amiss, Decker?
They did it! They actually went ahead and did it! They turned Hellraiser into a fucking found footage film! I can't believe... What? Just fucking 10 seconds and fucking... God damn it!
So, what we're about to see is Hellraiser done up like Blair Witch Project.
Wow. This is going to be bad.
I gotta finish the fucking review. These two fucking assholes.
I'll take it from here for a bit, Decker.
These two are Nico Bradley and Steve Craven, played by Jay Gillespie and Nick Eversman, respectively. They are on a runaway road trip to Mexico and...
Honestly, I think the following dialogue sums up all you need to know about them.
Alright, I say we hit the main drag in Tijuana, and we bang the first bow-legged hooker we can find.
It's Tijuana. Fuckers can't even pronounce the name of the place they're going to.
I can see where this is going. We may as well let him get it all out of his system, Creepy. Otherwise, this review will never end.
Fair point. Is there anything else you'd care to add, Decker?
I want to get wasted. Oh! Do you hear that, Mrs. Craven? Steve wants to get wasted.
Well, there's their fucking names, Craven and Bradley. obviously referring to Wes Craven and Doug Bradley, two prominent faces in horror, who both had nothing to do with this fucking abomination!
Dude, the fucking car, man. It's been jacked. I don't think. Turn the fucking camera off, dude.
And there's no reason to like these two jackasses at all. They're complete assholes whose only goals in life is to get high and get laid. So I have no sympathy when they locate this film's super easy to solve puzzle box, now requiring nothing more than fondling the ring for a bit, before summoning Pinhead. Or not Pinhead.
You opened it, summoned us, and we came.
To be perfectly honest, Stephen Smith Collins, who plays Pinhead in this movie, isn't a terrible actor, but the lack of post-production reverb in his voice, plus the fact that it looks like he picked up his Pinhead costume from Walmart, isn't exactly working in his favor.
Better?
I'll be okay.
I'm surprised you're not going to complain about the fact that Pinhead has pearly white teeth in this movie, Decker.
Fucking white teeth, goddamn! How are you fucking this? It's one of the main things about
Now you've really done it.
As it happens, the found footage is being watched by Steve's mother, Sarah Craven, played by Devin Savari. Steve and Nico have been missing for an undisclosed amount of time since they ran away. Emma, Steve's younger sister, played by Tracy Faraway, wants very much to talk about the fact that her brother might be dead, but Sarah is having none of that.
What is on that video camera?
Shut up!
Oh, thank goodness. I mean, if we're gonna watch a bad movie, at least I can see the actors I hate being tortured.
You know, save the shrink talk for your clients, Dad.
Oh, what the fuck? The two families of the missing boys have conveniently gathered to participate in this horror movie. Emma, however, slips away from the table for a second so we can enjoy more found footage. Yippee. And that thing wasn't even locked up. Why couldn't she have done this earlier?
We're in Tijuana. Can you believe it? Tijuana!
You just said it 3 different ways. You had to have known you were pronouncing it wrong in at least 2 of them.
Why don't I take it from here for a bit? It'll give your vocal cords a chance to recover.
Not to mention our ears, which, as an elder god, I don't actually have. The dim-witted duo come across the absolute whitest native Mexican woman ever to exist. They proceed to behave like utter incontinent bastards, so naturally this leads to one of them splacking the nameless pale native in the men's room.
It's my girlfriend, dude!
Classy. And sanitary.
They're having sex in a horror movie, so that means one of them dies. This is before anything supernatural has occurred, though, so how did she die? Perhaps Nico killed her. Or maybe she hit her head really hard while boning the fuck out of him and died. Or maybe there was something in the taquitos that made her face explode. The point is, the body count has started.
That's the first time I've seen you happy since this review started, Decker, which can only mean your joy is about to die a horrible, horrible death. Steve wants to go to the cops, but Nico insists that they GTFO. Being irreverent morons, they go with Nico's plan. Back in the present, Emma storms out of the house with the puzzle box in hand and proceeds to fiddle with it, which is enough to somehow summon Steve to her backyard.
For fuck's sake, she didn't even open the damn thing all the way, she just kind of poked at it. And since when does alignment configuration allow you to actually stop it once it started opening?
Here we go again.
Steve is brought inside by Emma, and the others rush to his aid. They all seem to agree that he's dehydrated, though no one bothers to bring him water. They try to get help, but the phones are somehow dead, and all their vehicles have mysteriously vanished. I held it halfway opening the lament configuration somehow caused that.
Maybe the killer is hiding in the woods with a machete. Maybe they're all dreaming. Maybe...
Reminding Decker that there are better horror films he could be reviewing instead won't help matters creepy. While the two families squabble amongst themselves like 8-year-olds, we cut again to the Cenobite Hell Realm and watch as squares of flesh are nailed to a Pinhead knockoff.
Would it be a problem for you, Decker, if I skipped ahead a little until something relevant to the plot happened?
Like the credits?
Forget the credits. Just skip ahead until the end of the DVD.
After more bickering and bitching, eventually Emma is inside with the lament configuration, fiddling to solve it again, because after all, we've only established 3 or 4 times that it's a fucking horrible idea. This causes seismic disturbances and power problems, and visions of Cenobites torturing in their heads.
Wait, they didn't actually summon the Cenobites.
Yes, they did! We just saw them!
We saw them, but the configuration puzzle didn't physically summon the Cenobites to the living room.
But they did see them!
Damn it, Decker! Would you quit trying to rationalize this movie? Can't be good for you.
All of this did serve a purpose, as bizarre as that may sound. The earthquake somehow brought Steve back to the poolside. When the others find him there, he narrates how Nico and himself came across the puzzle box.
Whoa, we're not looking for any new friends, amigo.
Okay, so the dirty homeless man solved the puzzle box. We all already know how this goes, so let's just skip ahead.
And that's better than sex.
Better than sex.
He's still there.
Every day for them is the best day ever.
Still there.
How much do you want for it?
Why is he still there?
This is why I prefer to make my transactions on Amazon.com.
This brings us to a scene we already saw at the beginning of the fucking film, where Nico opens the limit configuration while Steve holds the camera. Then Pinhead appears and Nico gets taken, and will this film stop showing us shit that we already fucking know? Steve further explains that he was collecting hookers to kill, so that Nico could be brought back from the Cenobite realm as a mattress. That explains why Julia died on the stairs and came back through the mattress. Apparently in Hellraiser, it doesn't matter where you die, you always come back through a fucking mattress.
Imagine if this applied to other common household objects. You could come back through the toilet, or the refrigerator, or even a washer-dryer set.
I want to see a Cenobite victim come back through the toaster. Back in the present, again, the other two are anxious to learn from Steve what it is that the Cenobites want, which Steve is happy to answer.
They want to experience your flesh.
You might want to experience some acting lessons in the near future.
Having never heard the term Cenobite before, Emma decides to conduct research using a reliable source on the occult.
A member of a religious group living together in a monastic community.
She looked up Cenobite in a fucking dictionary?
I was expecting her to try Wikipedia personally.
That reminds me, this movie is from 2011. How come nobody's tried calling for help using the internet?
Emma goes back to fucking around with the puzzle box yet again. Never mind how many times in the last 5 minutes has been established to be a very bad idea. Still, her mother stops her, so instead, she comes on to her boyfriend's father. Well, that came out of nowhere. And why is it important?
It isn't. In fact, it's never brought up again.
Like so much of this movie is. Not satisfied with having blatantly hit on her boyfriend's dad, Emma goes to her brother's room where the two proceed to have a very awkward and badly acted scene together.
And then the two start sucking face.
I can't even feel any more disgusted than I already am at how stupid this is.
At least he's not fondling her boobs.
We should just move on before something else happens.
Needing to prove to the other that they have the bigger dick, the fathers head outside to check the perimeter while armed with a shotgun. At first, it looks like there's nobody around, but this changes a split second later when the vagrant salesman from Mexico appears. So Father Bradley grabs a shotgun and shoots the vagrant. Only this has no effect. So Father Bradley gets his face cut off for his troubles.
Although this part isn't entirely his fault. The man's family is just standing in the doorway watching him bleed.
They get Bradley inside, but despite Emma's attempts at giving him groin CPR, Bradley bleeds to death very quickly. Steve then emerges holding the shotgun.
Oof. Even with birdshot at point-blank range like that, that's gonna kill the shit out of him fast.
You'd think that, wouldn't you?
Despite having a gaping stomach wound, the senior Craven is still alive to hear all of Steve's villain rant, which takes up a good chunk of the film's running time.
To summarize, Steve is actually Nico wearing Steve's skin. Something you could probably work out on your own just by how odd Steve was acting throughout the film. And not just it always being unintentional. Well,
they also made that a bit easier to predict by ripping off half the plot from the first fucking film. During Nico's villain rant, he manages to drop a number of irrelevant plot bombs onto those present, such as the revelation that Nico's mother was, in fact, having an affair with Steven's father! Interesting, considering that nothing at fucking all during the entire running time of this movie had even remotely suggested that, and it didn't seem important at all up to this point. So, is it going to be important at all later?
About as important as this.
I fucked your little daughter. That mine was the first cock she ever sucked.
So she had sex with her boyfriend. Who could have seen that one coming? All of this finally leads to Nico revealing that he wants Emma to solve the puzzle box, even though he's on the run from the Cenobites and isn't interested in being recaptured. Emma eventually consents to open the box since it will save her family.
This includes her dad, who is still alive despite the gaping hole in his stomach.
And the tea lights! Mustn't forget the tea lights!
Since when were tea lights essential to solving the lament configuration?
Well, they've researched the original Hellraiser, it seems, and nothing after that. And Frank had tea lights when he solved the lament configuration. I guess someone at Dimension thought that they were crucial! Either that or this movie was sponsored by a tea light company. Emma solves the lament configuration with the aid of the tea lights, and it takes Nico a couple of seconds to realize his plan was ridiculously fucking stupid. Nico was hoping to send Emma into the Cenobite realm in his place, but Pinhead isn't interested in playing the home version of Deal or No Deal, or in hearing from the peanut gallery.
He made her open the box!
That's a rather extreme way of getting someone to STFU.
Pinhead is about to drag Nico back to the Cenobite realm with him, but Steve's dad, who is still somehow alive, kills Nico, negating that plan. Pinhead admonishes the Elder Craven, stating that Nico's suffering would have been beyond his comprehension and more than enough for their vengeance.
As a result, Pinhead demands equivalent trade.
That which is born of the flesh is still just flesh.
Like the incestuous themes in this movie weren't blatant enough.
Pinhead states that Emma has a dark soul, and will one day solve the configuration willingly, so there's no reason for him to drag her along as well. The film concludes with the father still fucking alive, and sunrise coming just in time for him to finally die. Emma holds onto the puzzle box, thinking that it might be a good idea to solve the fucking thing, proving that she is the dumbest fucking person in the whole fucking movie. Yes! Yes! Thank you! Thank you, it's over!
Are you okay, Decker?
Hellraiser.
Want to see how long he can keep this up for.
What in the fuckingest fuck was that supposed to be? Who knew that Dimension taking my advice and writing an original Hellraiser movie would actually churn out the worst sequel of the bunch? No, I'm not spoiling my rating already. Was there ever any doubt? Hellworld at least had Lance Henriksen for entertainment value and some professional acting. Revelations, on the other hand, is simply a mix of everything I hate about bad horror movies.
Never mind for just a moment the terrible script, dialogue, and mediocre at best acting. The film's cinematography is shot on shaky cam with enough tripod shots to count on one finger. There are so few shots where the camera isn't moving while sitting still. The story itself is unoriginal, combining several elements from other Hellraiser films, but using them in shallow, repetitive, and trite ways. The acting is just all around bad, most of it not even enjoyably terrible.
Mercifully, this is also the shortest Hellraiser movie out there, but you wouldn't tell from watching it as it just drags on and on with each scene. There are a number of odd transitionary shots, which either add nothing to the plot, or even after explanations, still don't really make sense. The culmination of found footage, shaky cam, one night in a dark house, completely unlikable characters, and the cherry on top of infanticide, I cannot recommend this film to anyone who wants to have even a shred of respect left for anyone involved within. Therefore, Hellraiser Revelations comes in at 1 point-blank shotgun blast to the series' credibility out of 5.
This movie was a chore, plain and simple. I can have fun with so bad it's good cinema so long as the bad parts are entertaining. This movie was repetitive and dull. I have no desire to see it again, save perhaps if I am battling off an extreme case of insomnia. Even then, the nightmares might not be worth it, and not because the film was scary to me. Hellraiser Revelations isn't worth pirating, much less spending cash on, coming in at 0.
You cannot give a 0-star rating, Creepy. Not even to Revelations.
But
Nope, I'm putting my foot down on this show. You cannot do less than 1 star.
Fine. Hellraiser Revelations comes in at 1 incredibly squiggy brother-sister makeout scene out of 5.
Now wait, I just realized. There isn't really anything Hellraiser related to follow this up with. I mean, the Planet of the Apes had Bride of the Gorilla, and Summer of Steven Seagal had Executive Decision. There really isn't something for this summer.
you can always look up other Clive Barker movies and review them. I hear Creepshow just came out on Blu-ray.
It's not the same. There is a level of unanticipated horror to those reviews. Oh well. Thank you all for watching. I've been Decker Shado. And remember, if you find a lament configuration, and it's constantly summoning demons and shit, stop fucking opening it!
Gee, I wonder why no one's asked you to write a Hellraiser script before.
Hellraiser 10, nothing happens!